So for this part of the lay, I want to do a voiceover to give you tips on how to put this part together. Tip number one, you want to make sure that you put pressure on your stapler so that your staples are securing the petals in place, and that when you have your lay on, your petals are not falling off. Tip number two, you want to make sure that your petals are covering your foam plate, kind of overlap it when you start off. Overlap the foam plate so that it's not showing and it's not peeking out. Tip number three, you want to make sure that your staple is actually on the petals and not just barely on the petal. Put it more towards the end, but make sure that both sides are secured and your petals are not going to fall off. Don't really do it right smack in the middle because it's kind of hard to hide your staple when the next layer comes in. Also, make sure that you take your petals all the way to the end of the foam plate and cover the end up. You don't want that part to be peeking out as well. And also, it's good because when you go in to stitch your flower part onto the tea leaf, it's covered already, so you can just stitch it right on, if that makes sense. There's so many different ways to design this part of the lay. I like to use this technique versus the very first technique that I had posted on here because it gives it a 3D look, but also this technique is more time consuming, so it does take up more time to do. Okay, when adding on the carnations, I usually just grab a bundle like 5, 6, because it gives it a fuller look, and I just staple it onto the petals. I don't ever staple it on the stem if it's a flower that has a stem on there, because the staples usually cut through the stem, and then the petals usually end up falling off. So I always staple it onto the actual petal of the flower. I like to use carnations because like the ginger, the flower lasts long with no water, so it has a longer lifeline without water, and that's why I like to use carnations versus any other flower like roses or gardenia or plumeria, because that's what I discovered, that it lasts long with no water. And because I live in Cali, I work with what I have. I usually do one row of carnations because the next row would be the tea leaf row, so I'm going to leave some space for my tea leaf rows. This one I'm just going to kind of clean up the edge so that the paper foam is not showing. I usually use a half bundle of carnations to one flower lay, and one bundle of gingers to one flower lay. So that's my calculation on how many material I need. I hope this tutorial helps you fellow DIYers out. Please like and subscribe and comment on my page. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much.